Welcome to the mighty Trigon, the smallest fighting surface in combat sports, where 90% of our fights end with a knockout. Featuring the biggest roster in the sport, we showcase the best bare knuckle action from around the globe. This is BKB, Bare Knuckle Boxing.
The Trigon is once again landed in Jacksonville, Florida. Tonight, we have a multitude of fights with title ramifications. And in our main event of the evening, someone will leave with a Police Gazette diamond belt wrapped around their waist. Hi again, everybody. I'm Mike Goldberg. Welcome to BKB 41. In life, they always say, success is where preparation and opportunity meet. They also say in the Gladiator Code, as a fighter, I'm willing to fight anytime, anybody, anywhere, even if it changes the week of the fight. And that is what happened when the battle with the scale was lost by Ruan Uba. It meant that Jorge Bargallo, instead of starting off the night in style, he will end the night with an opportunity to win a championship. That is our main event of the evening for Jorge Bargallo. He moved from Cuba 8 years ago. Very respectful, very excited, very honored to fight in the Trigon. He said to us early, he said, I'm coming for it all. And all of a sudden tonight, it all is right in front of him. Standing across the Trigon is Kid Gatti, Jarod Grant, who will fight bare knuckle tonight for the 10th time in his professional career. 5 of his 6 wins have come by way of knockout. The winner of this interim title fight will face the lightweight champion, Julio Tenori, next. So it's all action here tonight, and we started out in style like always. So my friend Big Mo, here we go.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Jacksonville, Florida. Tonight's home for BKB 41, the Brawl in Duval 2, where all 8 bouts on the card tonight will take place under bare knuckle rules inside the smallest surface in combat sports, BKB's mighty Trigon. And we open our main card with 5 3-minute rounds in the Super Middleweight division, brought to you by AMG Accident Medical Group. Our referee in charge when the bell rings is Wayne Spinola. Let's meet the fighters. First, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing the black trunks with red trim, he stands 5 feet 9 inches tall. He weighed in at 164 1/2 pounds. He holds a bare knuckle record of 4 victories versus 3 defeats. And he fights out of Charlotte, North Carolina, introducing the 3-time BKB Fight of the Night winner. Ladies and gentlemen, Ryan Jett. And now his opponent standing across the Trigon, fighting out of the red corner, wearing the white trunks. He stands 5 feet 11 inches tall. He weighed in at 163 1/2 pounds. He holds an even bare knuckle record of 1 victory versus 1 defeat. And he fights out of Los Angeles, California, introducing Tommy the Spaniard Aaron.
Of the night. Tail of the tape brought to you by Clue Nicotine Pouches. Ryan Jett, 3 years the elder of Tommy Aaron, also will have a 3-inch reach advantage. Set to get things started, Ryan Jett and Tommy Aaron.
Okay, fighters, come to scratch. Fighters ready? Fight!
Here we go! The Spaniard Tommy Aaron in the white trunks, Ryan Jett in the black trunks. A lot of MMA experience for Tommy Aaron. Had a tough fight of the night battle in his Trigon debut, September of last year in Denver, when he took on Henry Williams. They went the distance. Ryan Jett coming off a setback against Sam Liera, but he is always entertaining. 3-time Fight of the Night winner.
Yeah, Jett is the kind of guy, he's either at 0 or he's at 100 real quick, you know, so you gotta really be careful when taking on Jett, because he can explode out of nowhere. But Aaron, very, very composed. He's typically that kind of fighter where he'll slowly calculate things and then start to break you down. So it is up to Jett to sort of break that up with his offbeat rhythm.
As you can tell by the voice, joined by my powerful partner once again, the Magic Man, the former 2-time world champion, Paulie Malignaggi, Mike Goldberg, round number 1 of our first fight of the night from Jacksonville, Florida.
A few seconds ago, Jett landed a nice little right uppercut on the inside. See Edwards trying to, again, close that gap, but Jett doesn't make it easy because he has getting that offbeat rhythm.
Don't grab the wrist, okay? Don't grab the wrist. Fight.
Ryan Jett, without a doubt, as athletic, if not the most athletic and explosive fighter that we have on the BKB roster.
Stop.
Both guys getting a little physical, getting a little nippy in there.
The weigh-ins were a little tense. The handshake was waved off, if you will. So not surprising to see that it started like this.
And both of these guys have a little bit of MMA in their background, right? So they know that they know how to use those clinches and those high bombs on the inside, and even some tosses. Can you toss a BKB, Goldie?
You can
shift.
Kind of toss. You can shift. There you go. It might be a toss, but if you call it a shift, I think it's okay.
Yeah.
Quality.
I guess it's the referee's interpretation. Nice shot there. Shot there from Edwards. And that's that thing about the Trigon. You get caught in the corner, right? That's what a second ago Jett got caught in the corner. He didn't take anything cleanly. He had his high guard, but he also wasn't able to respond after Tommy fired off those shots.
Tommy Aaron, born in Tampa, raised on a farm in Spain. He's a product of an amazing single mom, Nina. Came back to the U.S. from Spain with his mother's permission at age 15 to pursue a fighting career. 15 years later, he's starting the night off against Ryan Jett.
Shots hit to the body from Aaron. He's trying to close the gap again, and it's Jett who got himself trapped in the corner again here. It's the neutral corner.
Aaron trying to trick him with some footwork going into southpaw there, Paulie.
Respect the bell.
Good first round.
Time! Release each other.
Oh.
Now take points. You're not gonna like it. Don't do it. Get in the corner. Relax.
Got nippy at the end of that round, Goldie.
It did indeed.
After we went to commercial, still some wrestling, and Aaron put the head in the face of Jett. He was a slight headbutt there. I give Jett credit for staying calm there, but Aaron also seems a little frustrated with Jett's explosive closing of the gap, because when he explodes like that, he makes it really, really physical and sort of brings out some temper in Aaron as well. As Aaron now spits out some blood, he might have got caught with a good shot on the mouth here.
Aaron said to us in the fighter meetings, he won't be able to get under my skin. I think Ryan got a little bit under a layer or two in the first round. Swing and a miss. They work in the corner. Good movement from Ryan Jett. 9th fight in the Trigon for Charlotte, North Carolina's Ryan Jett. 2nd Trigon battle for Tommy Aaron. And a good matchup to get us underway.
Jett has drawn blood. Yeah, I think it was those short little uppercuts. He dips in and gets some good weight on those shots.
Well, we definitely found out a lot about Tommy Aaron when he fought Henry Williams. Going the distance, Williams scored knockdowns in the 1st and 3rd round, but Aaron is durable, as is Ryan Jett.
Yeah, Jett, we found a lot about Jett when he fought Cub Hawkins too.
Yeah.
A lot of character. Both of these guys, real tough guys.
Stop right clean. Stop right clean. Fight.
I think Aaron is a little bit confused on how to close the gap on Jett, because Jett, not only is he getting all beat with that rhythm and defense, but then he comes out punching explosively, so he almost starts to make you hesitate more and more the more as he's landing a few shots, and that's what I think Aaron is now hesitating a little bit.
Aaron turns the corner. Jett pushing the pace.
Nice shots here by Aaron.
As is the Spaniard. The only time Ryan Jett's been stopped was in that fight you just mentioned against Cub Hawkins.
My time.
That shot there. You got to toss a shift.
1 point. 1 point.
Great round here for Aaron. Jett has drawn blood, landed some good shots, and now he's lost a point.
Do any more of that. Fight fair. Do you understand me? Look at me. Fight fair. Got it? Right, you ready? Here we go. Fight!
You see again a little bit of hesitation now. Nice shot there from Jett, and that's why there's a hesitation, because it doesn't seem like Edwards can get a rhythm on or a timing on the way Jett explodes out of nowhere. So Edwards is trying to close the gap, but he's not able to sort of time the explosiveness of Jett again there. It's just trying, and you know what? The more you hesitate, it's actually worse. You might as well just enter and that's it. You know, you walk in. If you take your time entering and you don't have any of that offbeat stuff back to Jett, he's going to land that shot.
And a good left hook to the chin.
10 seconds.
Aaron has to move his head. Aaron has to move his head on the way in.
No, stop. That's a slip. Ready? Fight. Time. Okay, ready, guys? Here we go. Fight!
High level of physicality, always inside a bare knuckle boxing Trigon battle, but this one has been particularly physical. A lot of work in the clinch, a lot of strength, a lot of inside boxing. But a big second round for Ryan Jett. Point deduction for Tommy Aaron.
And Aaron is going to have to figure out a way to close that gap a little bit more deceptively. There he tries a big hook. Gets it a little bit smothered, but he's going to have to move his head on the way in. Now he's in here. At least when he's in, he's got to make it count. But watch him on the way in here now, because he's walked into so many shots. He's a little bit hesitant. Using the jab is a key as well. He's got to get back to that jab. He just used it there. That's something that can back up Jett a little bit. And that worked. That's a big shot. Set up a huge uppercut, I think.
You could hear it, partner.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
It is all over. Tommy Aaron has finished Ryan Jett.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Wayne Spinola calls a stop to this contest at 54 seconds of the third round, declaring your winner by knockout, Tommy the Spaniard Aaron. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Jacksonville, Florida, and welcome back to the mighty Trigon. As we move along in our card to the middleweight division, scheduled for 5 3-minute rounds. Our referee in charge when the bell rings, Christopher Young, and this bout is brought to you by Clue Nicotine Pouches. Let's meet the fighters. First, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing the blue trunks with white trim, he stands 5 feet 9 inches tall. He weighed in at 160 pounds. He holds a professional bare knuckle record of 4 victories, opposite 5 defeats, and he fights out of Atlanta, Georgia, introducing Rowdy Rusty Crowder. And now his opponent, standing across the Trigon, fighting out of the red corner, wearing the black trunks, he stands 6 feet tall. He weighed in at 154 pounds. He holds a professional bare knuckle record of 3 victories, opposite 2 defeats. And he fights out of Lake City, Florida, by way of Fort White, Florida. Ladies and gentlemen, introducing Joshua Wayward
Christopher Young, our referee. Here we go! Joshua Sikes in the black and purple trunks, blue trunks for Rowdy Rusty Crowder.
You're going to see Sikes try to establish some distance. He's tall, he's rangy. You're going to see Crowder trying to pressure him. Stop. Work on the inside.
Crowder made quick work of James Bodner in his Trigon debut in December of last year. A couple of months ago in Denver, Robert Duran Jr. got the better of Joshua Sikes. Rusty Crowder, in his one fight in the Trigon, wins the distance with the champion, the hitman, Harry Gigliotti. That is an accomplishment.
Yeah. Gigliotti's been on a tear.
Yes.
Since arriving at the Trigon. That's actually a feather in your hat just to go the distance with him.
And big fight coming up in the UK, title defense for the hitman Harry Gigliotti against one of Wales' best, Callum Skane, the Skull Crusher. Round number 1. Joshua Sikes looking for his second Trigon victory. Crowder looking for his first. 10th bare knuckle battle for Rusty Crowder.
Watch your fingers, watch your fingers.
Crowder not applying as much pressure as I thought he would. He's staying at a middle range, which is probably at the range Sikes wants him at. But Sikes not really using those straight punches to control the action. He's a bit wide as well, so not a lot of punching so far. Maybe they're trying to save their hands, Goldie.
Maybe. Joshua Sikes pointed out that the scale was a big battle for Rusty Crowder that was a setback, so the fight contracted at 160, but in real competition, really that Rusty Crowder's never fought higher than 147. Sikes very natural at 154, under a minute, round number 1, feeling out process. A little different to the first couple minutes of the first Ryan, Jett, and Tommy Aaron.
Yeah. A lot of tactical, a lot of posing so far. Good jab there by Sikes, and that's I think what he's got to stay on. I think he can get on these straight shots because, you know, Crowder's staying on the outside, and he's also not moving his head, so you can pick him off with these long-range shots if you keep him short.
You know, partner, I just mentioned, you know, going the distance with Harry Gigliotti. Joshua Sikes said that he felt that fight kind of showed him the blueprint to how to fight against Rusty Crowder, keep him at the end of that jab.
Yeah, Gigliotti's back on his boxing, so he understands the jab for sure.
Round number 2, black and purple for Joshua Sikes, blue for Rusty Crowder. Feeling out first 3 minutes. Let's see if the action picks up here at round number 2. See if Sikes starts to use that reach to his advantage. Good combination there.
You're gonna need to see Crowder putting on some more pressure here because you can't leave Sikes at that distance and that comfortable. You know, he's gonna feel like he's gonna have to fight to win the fight. You know. You see another mistake Crowder makes. He goes straight back when he's slipping punches. He's got to dip underneath and try to counter from there. Move his head. That's what I'm saying. You got to move his head so at least you keep Sikes from being so comfortable. You're going to be in and out constantly, especially when you're the shorter guy. It's going to be much harder to close that gap because you got to restart every time you step out.
Mentioned that Joshua Sikes' last fight was against Robert Duran Jr. Robert Duran Jr., Rolando Dy in our co-main event of the evening here tonight from Jacksonville.
Another thing, Goldie, when it comes to head movement and moving your feet, you got to pick one or the other. You can't do both at the same time. If you're moving your feet, it's hard to move your head. When you plant yourself, you can give some head movement off your hips and then be a little more deceptive on the attack. You see, Sikes is getting very confident because, you know, he just sees Crowder's not really able to attack across the distance. And Sikes can pick off Crowder at will. Look, for me, Sikes could be much busier and really take control of this fight. For me, also, Sikes is letting Crowder hang around a little bit too much here. But maybe he's content with this slow fight, and you know, maybe he thinks that if he starts hitting Crowder hard, maybe Crowder will wake up and it'll turn into a fast-paced fight. And right now, Sikes is winning a pretty easy, slow-paced fight.
Sikes said his body just stopped, cardio-wise, in Denver, but of course that was at altitude. Now he's training
Robert Duran.
Fighting in his home. Yeah,
Robert Duran also helped that, right?
You got that right. Training and fighting in his home state of Florida. But maybe pacing himself early. You get that feeling, Paulie, you would know better than any when the legs all of a sudden aren't there.
Yeah.
You don't want to have that feeling ever again.
Yeah. Maybe it's a situation where he doesn't want to go back to that. He's got some PTSD, but he is comfortably controlling this fight. But Crowder, I don't know. I want to say Crowder's out of ideas, but I'm wondering if he came into the fight with an idea because I don't know what his game plan was coming in. He's been bouncing on the outside the entire time, but that bounce is not setting up any angles or offense here, you know, and he's being kept on the outside with his jab. And again, when you're shorter and you have the shorter arms, being on the outside like this isn't going to do you any good unless you figure out a way to close the gap off that. He doesn't have the most explosive first step like a Lion Jett, for example.
Right.
He doesn't have any head movement like I explained. So he's having trouble with 2 rounds so far. I'm curious to see what they tell him in the corner.
Bare knuckle fight of Rusty Crowder's professional career with MMA and Muay Thai. He's had about 40 total fights. Rusty Crowder, Paulie, has never been stopped. Nice hook over the top.
And that's why I'm surprised. You know, I would have thought, you know, he would have been trying to close the gap. He's never been stopped. He's confident in his chin. Good shot there by Sikes, but here's what I'm going to take a stab at it, Goldie. Maybe because this is the heaviest he's ever fought, and he's wondering if maybe he can handle the weight if he tries to fight in a pressure style, if he can handle, you know, the physicality of the bigger weight class if he comes forward. I'm not sure. But at a certain point, he's going to have to try to start coming forward if he's going to intend to win this fight. Saw you made an attempt there, and Sikes got him into a clinch.
Sikes never been cut in all of his fighting career. About 15 combined professional and amateur MMA matchups. 6th bare knuckle battle for Wayward. The black and purple, and in the blue trunks, Rusty Crowder.
It's actually a good accomplishment considering in MMA you're using elbows, knees, and in bare knuckle, the knuckles can just graze you and cut you. It's a good accomplishment. But again, you can see his style. He knows how to be at range very well. Again, yeah, you'd like to see maybe Crowder use a level change, maybe some feints. And, you know, this bouncing around, I don't know if it sets up any rhythm because he's not really understanding how to work off that rhythm. So right here, when he's a little implanted, maybe some head movement, some level changes, something, and maybe punch off that head movement and off the level changes just to surprise Sikes a little bit, but he's not doing any of that.
Just past the midway point of this 5-round fight, Joshua Sikes said of his opponent, he's tough, he can take a punch, but he's too small. He said, I will be the first to finish him. We will find out as the battle continues.
I think that's the thing. That's why I took a stab at that, you know, that opinion. I said maybe Crowder also thinks he's too small. I'm not sure. You know, he didn't make the weight, and this was also a step up in weight to begin with, right? Because he fought Gigliotti at 145. You know?
Correct.
So this is weight 160 for this fight. Shots there from Sikes. And again, because Crowder goes backwards and he doesn't go towards the punches and slip them, he's not able to punch back. He's on the outside. See, with boxing, it's a very counter instinctive thing because, you know, a human being, your instinct is to go away from the danger when it's coming to you. In boxing, your best asset is to go towards it, slip it and go towards it, so that you can, you know, better land the better counter punches and be in better distance to throw some hurtful shots back. And if Crowder is going to keep going backwards when offense comes his way. He's either going to get hit, or if he is able to get away from the punches, he's not going to be in range to punch back either way.
And one of the strengths of Joshua Sikes is his counter punching. But if your opponent isn't punching you, then yeah. In our co-main event, right now though, Joshua Sikes just wants Rusty Crowder to engage round number 4. Black trunks with the purple for Joshua Wayward Sikes. Rowdy Rusty Crowder in the blue trunks. Even the corner is pretty much echoing what you said, Paul.
Cut him off. If he actually cuts
him off, he doesn't want to fight.
If he cuts off Crowder, and I'm not sure if Sikes knows how to cut off the Trigon, but if he starts cutting him off, he's really going to give him more space. He's really make him uncomfortable. Because Crowder is uncomfortable just being in there. If Sikes starts cutting him off, he's going to really make him uncomfortable. Right now, I don't think Sikes knows how to cut off the ring because Crowder's been able to circle around. Good jab there from Sikes regardless.
See if we can get some punches and bunches like the corner just said. Sikes talking to him. Crowder just smiling.
He's taller than I am.
Yep.
Trying to get Crowder to engage, and Crowder tries to rush in. But again, that explosive first step is not the Ryan Jett explosive first step. So
you got that right.
Sikes sees him coming and he's able to control the attempt at closing the distance by Crowder, and back on the jab goes Sikes. So even off those hooks or jabs that Crowder's throwing, maybe a feint and then throw real quickly, like a little hitch feint, you know, just to, you know, break up the rhythm of Sikes, or break up the anticipation of Sikes. You know, right now Sikes is able to anticipate everything that Crowder's been doing. On top of which, you know, what Crowder's been doing isn't very creative anyway. And he tried to turn southpaw. That's not going to do much either.
All he did was blade for a second, then go back to orthodox.
Took a jab to the eye, which I don't know, might have been a finger because he's poking at his eye too. Sikes is in control there. Either side, the way Sikes looks right now, he looks like he didn't even get to a fight.
That never been caught thing. You don't want to jinx him, but yeah. Sikes is smiling, but he's not enjoying himself.
Yeah, I think it's more of an uncomfortable laugh. You know, when you're uncomfortable, you're trying to just feint that you're comfortable. Good jab again by Sikes, and now he's getting booed as well, because people see that Sikes is trying to get to him, and Crowder keeps moving. Of course, like I said, if Sikes knew how to cut off the Trigon, he would get to Crowder. He just doesn't know how to cut it off.
Crowder wiped that eye a moment ago. It was a jab that did some damage to it. We will literally keep an eye on that. Yeah. Final seconds.
Pun intended?
Yeah, no pun intended.
Oh, good shot. Good shot there by Sikes.
But one landed. Will Joshua Sikes be the first to stop Rusty Crowder? Or does Rusty Crowder have one fastball that's going to land at 90 plus miles an hour and change the whole course of how this fight has gone through 4? That right hand is loaded for Joshua Sikes. Joshua has said he needs to fight at a higher pace. He said, sometimes I am too patient. I mean, there's more, as you pointed out, Magic Man, on the side of Crowder, but maybe Josh's sense of urgency, maybe it's not coming out because Crowder's not making it come out.
Yeah, that too. I mean, listen, with Sikes, it's just a matter of if you can win the fight on the jab, you'll take it. You know, I mean, Sikes is a sharp jab. He's in a good rhythm at this point. He sees he's controlling Crowder with that jab, so if this is all I need to win, okay. Plus, like I said, Sikes doesn't know how to cut off the ring, so he doesn't know how to force Crowder to engage. If you know how to cut off the ring, you're going to force Crowder to engage. You can actually make him more uncomfortable because Crowder's not looking to engage regardless. So I think at this point, you don't know how to find your opponent when he's running, and you got a good jab, you just take the fight off the jab, that's it.
And even in the corner, he had him in the corner and he let him out.
But even as Crowder's moving around, you see, you got to cut him off. You got to go in the direction he's going. So you force him in the other direction, and then I'll tell you what, in a Trigon, it can't be that difficult to cut it off because there's not a lot of space to begin with.
Smallest surface in combat sports. 1 minute. 1 minute.
There he goes. He cut him off there. Look at that. Maybe he was here.
That left landed to the chin of Rusty Crowder.
And now he let him turn the corner again.
1 minute on the clock. 5th and final round.
Either way, the fight's Crowder's not a threat to Sikes at this point. It's 2 different levels here we're watching.
It's going to either be a UD or a stop in the next 42 seconds. 30 seconds.
Yeah, I think Crowder's just trying to go the distance and trying to keep his record of not being stopped alive, right? And it's never been stopped, he told us, right?
Never been stopped.
Yeah, I think at this point it's just a matter about him keeping that record of never having been stopped, because not only does he have no chance of winning, he's not even trying to, you know, land a big shot at the end to try to win the fight.
Final 15 seconds.
Sikes is disrespecting him. He's slapping him.
Yep. 10 seconds.
He's telling him, you don't even deserve me to close my hand.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 5 full rounds, we go to the judges' scorecards for the official decision. Judge Eric Larson sees the contest 49-46 while judges Michelle Walker and Frederick Flutie see the contest 50-45. Declaring your winner by unanimous decision, Joshua Whaler Sikes.
BKB makes history Saturday, June 21st, when it brings bare knuckle boxing live for the first time to the Volunteer State with BKB 42, Music City Brawl at the Pinnacle in Nashville. Headlining the event will be the pound-for-pound best in the world when BKB two-division world champion Laurent T. Smash Nelson defends his super middleweight title against the only man to defeat him in the Trigon, Sam Liera. It's a rematch of the 2022 Bare Knuckle Boxing Hall of Fame Fight of the Year. In the co-main event, the champion, Javon Wolfman Wright, defends his BKB Super Welterweight title against a true BKB pioneer, Carlos Guerra, who is 7-1 inside the Trigon. Plus, BKB Women's Welterweight Champion Jamie Driver and BKB Super Featherweight Champion Helen Peralta go toe-to-toe in a Super Lightweight Eliminator match for the right to take on the Super Lightweight World Champion Courtney Cameron. Don't miss these hard-hitting bare-knuckle fights and more. Visit bkbbareknuckle.com for tickets and information. They will meet again. Smash and Sam the Caveman Liera. Carlos Guerra has looked good lately. Javon Wright is the champion. Driver Peralta is a can't-miss battle in a super lightweight eliminator. Speaking of champions and former champions, there is the former BKB Women's Lightweight Champion, Monica Medina. She is back to battle the Brazilian Rock, Lailane Mota. That fight is coming up next.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Jacksonville, Florida. Tonight for BKB 41, the Brawl in Duval 2. We now arrive at the Women's Super Featherweight Division, scheduled for 5 2-minute rounds, and is brought to you by AMG Accident Medical Group. Our referee in charge when the bell rings, Wayne Spinola. And let's meet the fighters. First, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing the white trunks with blue trim, she stands 5 feet 4 inches tall. She weighed in at 129 pounds. She holds a professional bare knuckle record of 1 victory, opposite no defeats, and 1 no contest. Fighting out of Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, introducing Lailane The Rock Mota. And now her opponent standing across the Trigon, fighting out of the red corner, wearing the pink and black shorts. She stands 5 feet 4 inches tall. She weighed in at 132 1/2 pounds. She holds a professional bare knuckle record of 2 victories, opposite 3 defeats. And she fights out of Biloxi, Mississippi, introducing the former BKB Lightweight Champion of the World, Monica Medina.
Wayne Spinola, our referee. Fight scheduled for 5 2-minute rounds. The former champion against the Brazilian. Both have dealt with Helen Peralta.
Ready?
1 no contest for Mota. Missed weight. Well, now they're going to meet each other. And you know what? Monica said, hey, check out my potential southpaw image. She's showing us a little taste early. Let's see what she does with it, Paulie. You got to break it down.
Yeah, well, she said she's not just going to switch just to switch. She's going to show. But right now, she seems like she's switching just to switch. But
yes,
could just be something early. Let's see. Mota just kind of waiting on her.
Great trilogy, of course, for Monica, Paulie, with Patty Juarez.
Good right hand by Mota. Yeah, that was a good trilogy with Juarez.
And in the fight in which Monica was victorious, she was on point with her jab, with her movement, with everything. Right now, she's eating some right hands from The Rock.
Very reactive.
Yeah.
Very reactive.
Nice shot. Big time. Hammer in the body. Down goes Medina.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7,
Body language not great, Goldie. This one might not last long. Mota is very intense. She's not responding.
It is all over, just like that.
That is several fights of frustration for Mota where fighters did not make weight.
Yep.
She ended up making weight training, going through camp and not being able to fight. She finally got it all out of her.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Wayne Spinola calls a stop to this contest at 1 minute, 5 seconds of the very first round, declaring your winner by TKO and still undefeated, Lailane Mota! Lailane Mota, first and foremost, you go by the nickname of The Rock. Is that named after your fist?
Lailane, primeira coisa, o seu apelido é The Rock. Esse é o significado do seu soco, do seu punho?
Esse é um apelido que meu mestre me deu pela minha força, pela minha perseverança de sempre continuar, mesmo às vezes quando não dava certo, eu estava ali firme e forte igual uma rocha.
This is my nickname that my coach gave me just to keep going to training because of my perseverance. So that's the reason that I'm here.
Amazing. Now you fought a former champion tonight, but you brought the fight to her. Did you expect it to be for you to be the aggressor, or did you not really know what she was going to bring to you tonight?
Ok, você esteve aqui e para bater nela, para lutar contra ela, era isso que você esperava?
Eu vim para mostrar quem eu sou, para mostrar quem é a Lailane Mota e mostrar meu trabalho, e foi o que eu consegui hoje.
Now lastly, in this Super Featherweight rankings, are you trying to get a shot at the title coming up now that you defeated a former champion herself?
Agora, o próximo passo é você conseguir lutar pelo cinturão.
É o meu objetivo, eu vim aqui para ser campeã do BRE, e é isso que eu estou procurando. Só me darem a oportunidade, eu estou pronta.
Yeah, that's my goal. So I'm here to get the belt. So just give me the opportunity and I will get my belt.
Sounds good, ladies and gentlemen. One more time for your winner, The Rock, Lailane Mota. Now, ladies and gentlemen, live from Jacksonville, Florida for BKB 41, we have arrived at our heavyweight contest of the evening, scheduled for 5 3-minute rounds. It is brought to you by Clue Nicotine Pouches and our referee in charge when the bell rings, Christopher Young. Let's meet the fighters. First, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing the blue trunks with white and black trim, he stands 6 feet 4 inches tall. He weighed in at 250.5 pounds. Tonight, he comes to us with 103 professional gloved boxing bouts, but tonight he makes his bare knuckle debut, fighting out of Forest City, Arkansas, introducing Jamal Knockout Woods. And now his opponent standing across the Trigon, fighting out of the red corner, wearing the light gray shorts with black trim. He stands 6 feet 1 inch tall. He weighed in at 259.5 pounds. He holds a professional bare knuckle record of 3 victories, opposite 2 defeats. And he fights out of Eureka, California, by way of Yreka, California, introducing the former BKB Heavyweight Champion of the World, DJ Protege Linderman.
Christopher Young, our referee for this heavyweight collision.
Big boys.
The big boys are set to go. 485 rounds with the gloves on for Jamal Woods. First time with the gloves off. DJ Linderman, white, black, and blue trunks, blue and silver for Jamal Woods.
See right away that southpaw versus right-handed matchup here with Linderman coming out in that southpaw stance.
And a good southpaw he is, as he corners knockout early on, but back to the center. DJ, for a big guy, for a big man, he's got boxing skills. We've seen it before. He's a champion. He can move. It's pretty to watch when he's on point.
Yeah. Burn a little bit of energy though.
Yeah.
Out of that bouncing, but it makes it work.
First fight, since BKB 24, 210-24 in Biloxi.
Closing that gap on Woods with those body shots.
It was when DJ was defeated, lost his title to Hurricane Ike Villanueva.
Nice shot there by Woods, a couple of right hands.
Heavy shot. You see the reaction of Linderman.
Yeah, Woods trying to get comfortable. I think he needed a second to get comfortable with the bare hands, and now he's letting his hands go.
Mike Goldberg, my powerful partner, former two-time world champion, the Magic Man, Paulie Malignaggi. Great to be here for BKB 41. Woods is teeing up.
Linderman with a big push after taking a body shot from Woods. As you figure, that's one way to get him off me, right?
At least for now.
Good shot there for Linderman.
Woods pouring it on.
Woods is starting to get comfortable closing that range and staying in Linderman's face.
At the official weigh-ins, Jamal's younger brother, Anthony, was providing some interesting commentary of his own. You don't want this, you don't. Somehow I hope that Don Povia and our social team captured some of that for the entertainment.
Tell you what, Woods captured
BKB Bare Knuckle.
Woods captured the left eye of Linderman because Linderman is cut. Pretty good cut on the right eye. On the right eye of Linderman.
Mouthpiece. Young sees it. Picks it up. Fight continues for now. Nice job, Christopher Young. One of the best in the business. 40 seconds. We can see all that boxing experience of Jamal Woods. Taking on the former champion, taking it to him at times here in the first round. 10 seconds.
Nice shot there.
Round number 2, 54th professional combat competition for DJ Linderman in the white, black, and blue. First time without the gloves for Jamal Woods. DJ pushing, trying to work inside early here in round number 2. Round 1, Woods looked good.
Yeah, Woods looked good, landed a couple of good shots, and then at the end of the round was even sharpshooting Linderman. I think he's going to try to get back on that, using those jabs here. Linderman tried to start fast this round, but ended up smothering himself.
21 wins by TKO or KO with the gloves on for Jamal Woods.
Nice jab there by Linderman. He's got to follow that up.
Jamal very relaxed, but he's been in there a ton. 103 professional bouts. In fact, with the gloves on, in 2024 he fought Cody East, and in 2023 he fought our heavyweight champion Gustavo Trujillo. Tonight he's fighting the former heavyweight champion DJ Linderman.
Another thing he said, it's a fresh start from Bare Knuckle,
yes.
And he was looking for that. Sometimes with the glove boxing, especially if you take a few losses, you end up in that journeyman mode. And it gives him a chance to, try to come in with that winning mentality. And he's been fighting hard this fight. Both guys have.
Turned pro in 2011. Linderman turned pro in MMA in 2008. Two veterans of combat. Just past the midway point of round 2.
That right eye of Linderman is leaking.
We're saying for DJ to walk away from the power.
But I tell you what, Woods doesn't even need to use that power. With that cut, he could keep using that jab, but that's a good left hand there from Linderman. Oh, nice jab hook there. That'll really do some damage to the eye. Good body shots and good blood down from Linderman.
Linderman's a tough out, we know that. He also set up Jamal Woods. He's a boxer. He's been around a long time.
Nice jab.
Does
again.
not quit.
That backs Linderman off. Nice hard jab there from Woods.
Yep.
See again, Woods is smart enough to keep using that jab. he probably realizes that Woods not seeing a lot.
Yep. Legs are wobbly. 20 seconds, round 2.
Yep. Keeping it simple there, Woods. Being intelligent now. Linderman not seeing these jabs with all that blood in his face.
10 seconds, 10 seconds.
Couple landings at the end of the round from DJ. Magic Man, nobody breaks down a fight better than you. That's my opinion. I'm sticking with it. I'll never change my mind. So when they talk to DJ about moving away from the power, what should we look for if he does do so?
Well, what they're talking about is moving away from the right hand of Jamal Woods. You know, Woods is a right-handed fighter, so you know, as for a southpaw, you're susceptible to the right hand. So you want to move to your right, which is to the right-handed fighter's left, and get on the it's called going to his weak side.
See how this battle continues. DJ came out somewhat aggressively.
Either way, in the Trigon, there's not a lot of room to move regardless, Goldie.
Right. And it's always interesting when you have the southpaw orthodox matchup, regardless where.
Yeah, now Linderman's actually turning right-handed.
Yep. Good work. He has Woods in the corner.
The problem is he's smothering himself here, so it's not really going to do any damage. It's going to make Woods second-guess anything.
Now, it should be
dirty boxing.
Dirty boxing, all the MMA, everything that has been part of the career of DJ Linderman would make one think that in the clinch in the dirty boxing area, low blow unfortunately, that would be a place where DJ would have the advantage, as Jamal Woods is truly a pure boxer.
Yeah, and I think that's where he wants to probably keep that action there, but without letting himself get smothered and without letting himself get tied up. If you're going to get that close, you want to make sure you're able to work in there and do the most damage. A little low blow may have been intentional, may have been on accident. Either way, you leave a statement there. You know, you're willing to get down dirty and rough, and you know, to break up the comfortability that the break up the comfort that Woods has right now. And there he goes again. He's using a very nice tie plum there, right, Goldie?
Yep.
Is that what they call those, tie plum?
Tie plum, that's it. The tie plum. Muay Thai 101, 42 professional MMA bouts for DJ Linderman.
Linderman's had himself a good first minute of this round so far.
He's bringing it into his world inside the Trigon, where you can utilize the dirty boxing and the Thai plum.
Woods is winning with the jab before, but Linderman has tried to turn it up and make things uncomfortable, and Woods has not responded well, so it's giving Linderman a chance to get back in the fight, and that's what I'm talking about guys like Woods sometimes have this journeyman mentality. Are they willing to go and win the fight? You know, because Linderman didn't have the journeyman mentality. He was getting beat on early, and he said, you know what, I'm not ready to lose. I'm going to turn this up a notch. Now Woods was comfortable before. Now it's going to have to be uncomfortable if he wants to continue to have the advantage in this fight. Is he willing to be uncomfortable, or is he going to keep that journeyman mentality? That's what we're going to see right now. And right now we're seeing that we're going to get the answer to that, and we're seeing Linderman is the one who's willing to be uncomfortable to try to win the fight.
And let's keep an eye on the gas tank of Jamal Woods, simply for the reason that we've spoken about most of this round, Magic Man, and that is the clinch work, the inside, where generally they'd be broken up immediately. Or close to that for Woods with the gloves on.
And what Linderman is really just outwilling. He's not the more skilled of the two, but he's outwilling Woods. Linderman is outwilling Woods now, and now Linderman trying to use all that MMA skill set with the dirty boxing.
When DJ Linderman won the BKB Heavyweight Championship, it was at the end of the 5th round with a dock stoppage against Tony Lopez. When he was defeated by Ike Villanueva, it was in the 4th.
Smart body shot there by Linderman.
In all 3 wins, DJ Linderman has finished his opponent. In its setbacks, he has been stopped. We are in round number 4. Former champion, very impressive in round 3. Using the dirty boxing, closing the distance.
So, and having said that Linderman's never been the distance, he's actually holding up pretty well and actually getting more and more of an advantage in this fight as the rounds progress. Smart with this dirty boxing here, trying to get to the body of Woods. Woods is going to have to make a decision here. Does he want to win the fight, or does he want to let it slip away from him?
Right.
because he's going to have to be uncomfortable to win the fight, but he can win the fight. We saw the skill set he showed in the first couple of rounds, but now Linderman, though he may be the less skilled guy, he can do a lot of other things that can turn this thing around, mainly based around his effort, but also around his dirty boxing ability.
And how many times, yourself included, has it been said, it's not boxing, it's bare knuckle boxing?
Oh yeah, absolutely, and the dirty boxing is the biggest part of it there. You know, on the inside, you know, you in boxing a lot of times in a clinch or in a smother, you know, you may be able to get a slight reprieve or slight rest. A guy like Linderman is not giving Woods that slight rest and reprieve in the clinch. And the judges are going to see that. You know, they're going to see that it's only one guy trying to work. So whether the shots get through or whether they don't get through, some are getting through, some are not getting through. Either way, one guy's working and one guy's just trying to get through the rounds, and that's not going to win you rounds. That's going to, the decision you're making is to give up these rounds. But if you're Jamal Woods, if you're fighting the way you're fighting, and the decision Linderman's making is, you know what, I was behind, I'm going to go win this fight. That's what he's doing.
We've seen it before from DJ Linderman. As you mentioned, not gone the distance, but he went 5. When we still had 7 3-minute rounds for title fights against Lopez, went into the 4th with Hurricane Ike. We're in the 4th, this one scheduled for 5. Good start for Jamal Woods. Busted up the eye of DJ Linderman, but the last 2 rounds, this one, with 55 seconds left, it's been all about the former champ.
Yeah, he's not acting, he's reacting. You know, so he's only waiting on Linderman to do anything. You know what I'm saying? He's kind of only reacting. Linderman's carrying the pace here. It's Linderman dictating the way the fight's being fought. You see here, very defensive on the ropes is Woods, not even looking to counter. A little counter with a 1-2. But look, no follow, Goldie. You know, right there he should be following up and try to take advantage in the ring, in the Trigon, but he's not. It's Linderman who comes right back and attacks. And again, these are things that judges see. Who's controlling, who's dictating.
Just missed with that hook 1, 2, 3 times.
Winning is a mentality, Goldie,
Yes.
and you can see the mentality is stronger in Linderman here.
He wants that belt back. Owned by very dangerous Cuban assassin named Gustavo Trujillo right now. It's gonna be tough for anybody. 3 minutes remain. DJ Linderman, white, black, and blue trunks. Blue and silver for Jamal Woods. How much is left in the gas tank of Jamal Woods?
Well, he hasn't worked a lot in the last couple of rounds. You know, he could maybe go for that. I think this round could be the pivotal round here because you could make a case that Woods won the first 2 rounds and then Linderman won the next 2 rounds. So this could be a very big round here. And again, it's going to come down to, do you want to win this fight? Linderman, you can see in his body language, is looking to win this fight.
Not deterred by the fast start of his opponent, Paul.
Yeah, nor the blood.
Yes.
And Woods is not taking more advantage of it. Look, Woods is waiting. Remember, like I said, when you end up, you may have a lot of boxing experience, but when you have a lot of losses in boxing, you tend to take on that journeyman mentality, or sparring partner mentality, where you just kind of get through. You know how to go through the rounds without taking too much damage. You fight very defensive, but those don't win you rounds. Those don't win you fights. And, you know, when I heard Woods say yesterday at the fighter meetings, okay, it's a new start, it's a new sport, new start. You have to bring the new mentality to the new sport. Otherwise, if you bring the old mentality to the new sport, it's going to be the same kind of thing again. And that's, Woods, after a really good start, has allowed that old mentality to creep back in. And it's Linderman who's brought the winning mentality and maybe snagging this fight away from the jaws of defeat after a bad first couple of rounds.
And it's a new set of rules, one that DJ knows very well. With the clinch, the dirty boxing, that is what has changed the pace of this fight, starting in the 3rd.
Yeah, and because Linderman was able to now get inside and close the gap because Woods was being too lazy with his jab and with his shots on the outside. Once Linderman's able to close the gap, he's able to use all those advantages that he has with the dirty boxing. But look, even here, he doesn't even need to do dirty boxing. Look, Linderman's not even using dirty boxing, and he's actually just hitting him because Woods is not reacting. There's nothing dirty about here, Goldie. Good shot there by Woods, but look. It's Linderman undeterred, staying in his face. He wants to win the fight.
Jamal has thrown that counter left hook a couple of times and missed that combination landed.
We got a follow-up there from Woods, but is he going to go for it? You see, this is why Woods is going to kick himself if he loses this fight. It's just a matter of him trying, and he's got the better skills. But he didn't try enough. Good shots there again in return from Woods after Linderman lands a good left hand.
And much to your point, Paulie, it could come down to this last 30 seconds. after the good start for Woods.
Linderman now
3 and 4 for Linderman.
Linderman now saying, let me go back to dirty boxing. Giving this guy space, he's able to land some shots. Let's see here. Last 20 seconds. Let's see if Woods goes defensive. This is big. This is a big moment.
Linderman has never gone the distance. 10 seconds away from that stat changing.
Look who went for the win at the end. That's going to be a big key.
And right now, it's the former heavyweight champion. They go the distance.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 5 full rounds, we go to the judges' scorecards for the official decision. Judge Flutie sees the contest 48-47. Judge Michelle Walker sees it 50-45. And Judge Eric Larson sees it 49-46. Declaring your winner by unanimous decision, DJ the Protege Linderman. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back inside the smallest surface in combat sports, BKB's mighty Trigon. As we now arrive at the featherweight division, scheduled for 5 3-minute rounds, it is brought to you by AMG Accident Medical Group. Our referee in charge when the bell rings is Wayne Spinola. Let's meet the fighters. First, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing the all-black trunks, he stands 5 feet, 6 inches tall. He weighed in at 125 1/2 pounds. He holds a bare knuckle record of 4 victories, opposite just 1 defeat. And he fights out of Cleveland, Ohio, introducing the former inaugural BKB Featherweight Champion of the World, Brandon Slaughterhouse Birr. And now his opponent, standing across the Trigon, fighting out of the red corner, wearing the dark red trunks with gold trim. He stands 5 feet, 5 inches tall. He weighed in at 124 1/2 pounds. He holds an undefeated bare knuckle record of 2 victories, opposite no defeats. And he fights out of Miami, Florida, introducing Yampier Samurai Ramirez.
Wayne Spinola, our referee for this featherweight fight between the inaugural BKB Featherweight World Champion and the rising star, the Samurai. Here we go! Ramirez in the burgundy trunks, black American flag, sported once again by Brandon Birr. 11 years the elder of Ramirez. Ramirez, very quick, very effective thus far in his young career. Only 2 wins in a total time of 3 minutes and 24 seconds. And he took a good body shot there and just worked through it.
Yeah, he's got good skills. You're gonna see he's got the more classy skills, but Birr doesn't care if he's fighting in a junkyard style or not. Birr landed a good right hand. That's not the first right hand he's landed this round so far. You're gonna see Bird looking to throw the harder punches, the less classy punches, I guess we'll say Goldie, but the shots that he wants to make sure are effective, and the ones that are another good right hand, ones that he hopes will break up the rhythm of Yampier. Yampier, a standard boxer, looks to fight off that rhythm, to use that jab at different angles. Bird I noticed Bird's either all the way out or all the way in, and that's kind of smart because it forces Yampier to kind of come to him. But then Bird, when he's all the way in, he kind of launches that right hand in. You're going to probably see it again here. He's done it a couple times. He's got a good jab there instead.
And Brandon has talked about it the last couple of fights, Paul. He's really been working on loosening up more flow, his defense, because he's steel. He's a wrestler. And he's tough out. And he used those skills to get him there, but now he's loving this boxing and he's getting better at it.
Yeah, it's a little bit change of mentality, but you know, the good fighters, they put the work in. You can see Birr has put the work in. You know, nice counter again by Birr. Again, it's not as smooth looking as Ramirez, but as Yampier Ramirez, but that's because Birr hasn't grown up in boxing. But nonetheless, he knows how to make it effective for him. He's doing a pretty good round, although Ramirez is the one coming forward. Birr's landed the better punches, I think. Slips good there as Ramirez tried to use a little combination. Didn't land anything clean. And here on the inside, Goldie, as you said, you know, like to mention, dirty boxing, that's going to have the advantage for Birr when they are able to work in there.
Birr's already mounts under both eyes. Yampier Ramirez.
Yeah, and this is also something for Ramirez as well. You know, how does he react when somebody punches back, when somebody hits him back? Because, like you said, he hasn't spent a lot of time in the Trigon so far. He's had it pretty easy, but now he's got a guy who's rugged, raw, and, you know, he doesn't care if you're a better, classier boxer than him. He's going to fight you. He's got the fighting mentality.
Good shot. Answered with some body work from Brandon Birr. Talking about a trilogy with...
Oh, another good shot. Good shots here by Birr. Wow.
With the knockdown late in the round.
Ramirez too casual, closing the gap. He has never adjusted it the whole time. Even when he was walking into right hands all around, still casually comes forward, trying to close the gap. That is not how you do it.
Knockdown late in round one for Brandon Birr. Black American flag trunks, burgundy trunks for Yampier Ramirez. Well, I started to say, you know, the trilogy with McQueen. They're 1-1. McQueen is our champion, of course. We hope will eventually come. Nothing against Ramirez and the other great fighters at 126. But Brandon did say, hey, when it comes, it comes. If it comes, it comes.
Yeah.
He just wants to fight. He wants to be in good fight.
Yeah, he doesn't want to be not busy. You know, he'd obviously love a title shot, and if he keeps fighting like this, he's going to earn it quite sooner rather than later. But, you know, the winner of this fight is probably going to get a good shot at getting that McQueen fight. And of course, especially that Birr and McQueen have a history, two great fights against one another. You know, if Birr is able to win impressively here, the way he's looking so far, I mean, I would expect that fight to come next. Ramirez still has not been able to really make any adjustments here. You know, he's been very confident in two fights. Now he's put together some good shots here.
Couple good shots. Snap the head back of Brandon Birr a little bit, Magic Man.
Yep. He's got to put some shots together here. He's got a moment here to take some advantage. Let's see if he's able to close the gap a little more alertly here, because again, that's been his issue has been too casually, lackadaisically closing the gap, and he's walking into some big punches from Birr. Birr is explosive on your way in.
21-year-old Yampier Ramirez moved from to Miami at age 10, midway point of round number 2.
Another big right hand. Goldie, Ramirez has to use some feints, man. I mean, he's got another good right hand. He cannot get out of the way of that right hand, and he's not disguising his entrance. There's no feints from Ramirez. As classy of a boxer as he looks like, he's missing a big key there, because if you're going to be that kind of boxer, that kind of fancy boxer with nice hands, good position, all that stuff, where's the feints? Where's the change of the look? Where's the change of levels? He's actually ordinary, a good right hand there, but more ordinary than he tries to come off as. And now he's just going to fight it and lands a shot there.
One knockdown each.
He went to the same gutter that Birr was going to. He said, forget this pretty stuff. I got to fight you if I'm going to win tonight. Now he feints. Look at that. Now he's fainting.
Now we got ourselves a fight.
And
Ramirez.
Good shot again.
That's a huge shot landing. Birr takes a knee.
Big left hook.
It is all over. Yampier Ramirez has stopped Brandon Birr.
Wow. It's almost like something went off in his head. Just as I was criticizing about he's too casual, he's too lax, it's almost like a switch went off in his head where he said, you know what, I forget this pretty boxing, let me go fight this guy. And when he went to fight this guy, you know what he found out? He has the better punches because his background is boxing, and he was able to put together some nice hard punches instead of trying to be that sweet, casual, setup, cutie type of boxer. You know what I mean? That wasn't working here. Birr was beating up on him. Incredible finish, Goldie.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Wayne Spinola calls a stop to this contest at 2 minutes, 40 seconds of the second round, declaring your winner by TKO and still undefeated, Yampier Samurai Ramirez.
Huge victory, big step up in competition, and the Samurai showcased his skill set and remains unbeaten. Here's Big Mo.
Don't worry, I'll come to you, brother. A little bit more scratched up than the usual fights, but you turned on the gas, I think, when you felt some pressure back First couple fights you've had in the Trigon, you won them pretty straightforward, pretty easily. Tonight you got pushed. Did you like getting pushed like that by a former champion?
I mean, I'm gonna look good in the pictures, all bloody.
Hey, still look good, you're good.
Hell yeah, that's what I told my friends back home. I'm like, once the picture, I'm gonna be all bloody. I already knew this was gonna happen. I already prepared myself for it.
Now, I think we got some highlights here from when you turned on the gas against Brandon Birr. Walk us through what you were trying to accomplish.
What I accomplished, the knockout.
Did you know when you started to have him on his back foot, did you know that you really at that point could control the fight and finish it?
Not really. I just tie it up and hope that happened, you know what I'm saying? I just gave it all I had, and the outcome was pretty good.
So now at this point in your bare knuckle career, you now have fought a former champion. In your mind, Yampier Ramirez, do you need a belt around that waist?
Yeah, I want that belt right here.
You have some friends and family that are here tonight watching you all over. Anything you have to say to them?
I mean, love to all of them. Thanks to them, I'm here. It's the same with all of my fans. I love them all.
Well, congratulations. Great fight, my friend. Ladies and gentlemen, one more time, the Samurai, Yampier Ramirez.
All right, DJ, don't open your eyes because the doctor told you to not open your eyes, but you are looking beautiful, the best you've ever looked. I saw you when you got out of that dogfight. You stepped out of the Trigon and you looked at Gustavo and you pointed at him. Was that putting Gustavo on notice that you want that championship?
Damn straight. I'm coming for that belt. I'm taking what's mine.
Yes, and so you actually never got to fight him because you had lost the title, then he went with Ike. You're always in these dogfights, these long fights, and you have to dig so deep. You have so much grit and determination in there. Is that something that comes naturally, or do you have to go deep when you're in these long bouts?
Yeah, if you ask anybody, that's my favorite fight is a dogfight. I don't like those easy fights. I love the Warners. I've been through them so much. I'm addicted.
Oh, that's good. Well, your face looks gorgeous. We can definitely see that there. I'm going to let you get stitched up. Thank you, DJ.
All right.
Arriving earlier tonight, Kid Gatti, Jarod Grant, unbeaten inside the Trigon. Julio Tenori is injured, scheduled to return in the fall. So tonight, in his 10th professional bare knuckle fight, Jarod Grant has an opportunity to become the BKB Interim Lightweight World Champion. And what a story, what a couple of days it has been for that man. Jorge Bargallo, he thought he was going to be in a prelim, then Uba missed weight, and now that man right there can walk away with some diamonds and gold.
Live from Jacksonville, Florida for BKB 41. This is your co-main event of the evening. 5 3-minute rounds in BKB's middleweight division. Brought to you by Accident Medical Group. Our referee in charge when the bell rings, Christopher Young. Let's meet the fighters. First, fighting out of the blue corner. Wearing the black and white trunks, he stands 5 feet, 9 inches tall. He weighed in at 154 1/2 pounds. He holds a bare knuckle record of 3 victories, opposite just 1 defeat. And he fights out of Dasmariñas, Cavite in the Philippines, Rolando Dy Incredible Dy. And now his opponent standing across the Trigon, fighting out of the red corner, wearing the red, white, and blue trunks. He stands 5 feet, 9 inches tall. He weighed in at 158 pounds. He holds a professional bare knuckle record of 2 victories, opposite 1 defeat. And he fights out of Miami, Florida. Introducing Robert El Gorilla Duran Jr.
Co-main event scheduled for 5 3-minute rounds. Duran Jr. was a bit heavy, so it's moved to a middleweight matchup, and here we go.
Duran with a southpaw stance here, Golden.
Right away. He says he's a switch stance fighter, but we've not seen him come out southpaw before. Red, white, and blue trunks for Duran Jr., black and white for Rolando Dy.
He split it in with the right hand and partially landed. Let's try a quick first step. Again, we're gonna counter right hand there, does D.
This has all the makings of being a spectacular co-main event of the evening.
D uncomfortable with the shots behind the head. Let's see.
Go. Sure. All
right. He says go, 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 go. And we do. Good counter and explosion by Rolando Dy.
Yeah, he landed on the end of that punch, so it wasn't as explosive as it might have seemed, but nonetheless, you can see what he's looking for. It's the second time he tries that counter.
Yep.
And Duran, I know he says to switch style, but now he goes back to right-handed because, again, with your backup stance, a lot of times your defense is not as sharp. You can throw punches from your backup stance, but sometimes your defense is not as sharp. And you can see D trying to take advantage of it, so Duran went back to right-handed a second ago when they were on the outside. A lot of clinches in this fight early on so far, Goldie. Now you can see Duran more comfortable in the right-handed stance. He gets into an offensive mode.
And not surprising with Rolando Dy, Fighter of the Year for Brave Fight Club back in 2020. A lot of MMA, but very successful with his hands.
You can see that Thai plum in there. He's not letting Duran out.
And very little MMA for Robert Duran Jr. Gloves pretty much his entire life.
Duran catches everything on the hands there and holds his ground. It's a bit of mental pressure as when you don't give ground when your opponent throws those punches. Just tries to keep that pressure on D. D tries a rolling counter. Remember he mentioned in the highlight that he tries to do that those Mayweather moves. He tried that with the little rolling counter right hand.
Glove now, no gloves, but still boxing for Robert Duran Jr. Good start to our co-main event of the evening.
Again, the clinches. Duran a little bit cut on the left eye there.
Jarod Manassian earned a split decision over Robert Duran Jr., utilizing his entire skill set in the clinch. Let's see how this one continues. Round one in the books. Set for round number two. Robert Duran Jr., red, white, and blue trunks, black and white. For the native of the Philippines, fighting out of the Philippines.
Chris wanted to try and break them. He almost got hit.
We've seen that before.
Yeah.
And there's that strong clinch again for Rolando Dy, Paulie.
Yeah, D, you can see he's physically strong too. When he grabs the hold of Duran, the action kind of stops and it's a little bit awkward. But Duran is tight inside too. He's not letting a lot of the openings be found there for D either. D may have the nice jab there by Duran. D may have the advantage with those Thai plums, but Duran also knows how to take away the spacing from D to be able to work off those Thai plums.
And Duran did talk about that setback against Jarod Manassian. And he knew that D had some of the same skills, but he did say he does not believe Rolando is as strong as Jarod was.
Yeah.
Or is.
Well, there is a sort of a mouth on the side of the face of Duran on the right side. You see it's kind of a little golf ball there. See right by his ear almost.
Yep. And there's a good right hand as Duran came in again. Rolando Dy, this fight excites me. The moment Duran signed with BKB, I was calling him out because of his surname. As I mentioned during the walk-ins, big fan of his father and honored for him to fight tonight. Both sons of world champions.
And again, you see the Thai plum, you see a lot of clinching in this fight, which, could lead to some fatigue later in the fight, right? I mean, we'll see. There's a lot of pushing and shoving in those clinches to try to jockey for position, so there's not really a lot of rest. See D again trying to work off the counter. I tell you, when Duran goes southpaw, D tries to work that counter right hand quickly. He's constantly tried it.
Rolando Dy's bare knuckle debut was in Thailand, and then a couple of fights for BKB UK as it was. Now we're all one happy family. But his victories, all three of them, have been finishes, including his debut in the Trigon in Leeds in the United Kingdom at BKB 25. Final 30 seconds, round number 2. He is certainly looking to make this a fight that favors his style and skill set. Nice left.
Counters. Deep been sharp on the counter.
Our co-main event continues. Mike Goldberg, my powerful partner, the former two-time world champion, the Magic Man, Paulie Malignaggi, BKB 41. Robert Duran Jr., red, white, and blue. Rolando Dy, Incredible D, in the black and white trunks. He's had success, Paul.
Not only that, he's starting to take the lead now in this third round. He's starting to lead with the shots. A lot of times he was waiting on Duran to move in, and then he would counter and then cause a clinch and create all kinds of riffraff on the inside. But this round, he started the round aggressively, being first. And you see Duran has a cut by one of his eyes, and I think he's also got a cut by his scalp. Both on the left side.
Wales, Liam Rocky Reese is the champion at 154. Just defended his title in Cardiff for the first time. This is the true division that these two men compete in, although tonight being middleweight due to a battle with the scale. I don't know if they're up next, Paulie, but the winner will definitely put themselves into the talks.
See again that counter right by D.
D very confident, as you mentioned, came out striking first in this round. Midway point of the fight.
Again, those clinches, D obviously much more comfortable in them. He initiates them, and so, you know, when Duran not only has to work on being first, he's got to also work on being first and making sure that D doesn't slip and slide on the inside and get inside and cause a clinch. But now, you've seen D make more of an effort to be first as well, and Duran waiting more and more. And could that be conditioning issues from not making weight? Could that be conditioning issues, you know, being heavier? Big shot there by D.
Right on cue. First knockdown of this co-main event, and it's scored by The Incredible. He's looking to finish it right here, right now.
Oh, big shot again as Duran moved his hand.
He's in trouble.
At the high guard.
Fast stands, and down he goes again.
A lot of blood, Goldie. A lot of blood leaking. It's on the ear, no less.
And again with the right. Duran says, bring it. 10 seconds on the clock. D was telling him to stay down, you're out. But he's not. And this fight will continue. But what a round for Rolando Dy.
He's gonna get up.
Yep, and you can tell from that ear that although he is a boxer, he has done some grappling.
Yeah.
He's got a little cauliflower ear going.
Yeah.
It is all over.
Listen to me.
The doctor looking at the ear of Robert Duran Jr. and says this fight is finished. And Rolando Dy, very emotional, a dream fight to battle a Duran and a victory for the ages for the Philippines own. Rolando Dy with two big third round knockdowns and a doc stoppage at the end of the third. Official decision when we come back.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Christopher Young calls a stop to this contest at the end of the second round, declaring your winner by a doctor stoppage, Rolando the Incredible Dy.
Rolando Dy, very emotional, earns the victory, and he will visit with Big Mo.
Rolando Dy. First and foremost, congratulations. You brought the fight tonight to someone that usually fighters do not want to bring the fight to in Roberto Duran. Did you know or did you anticipate that you were going to be the aggressor?
Yeah, I studied his fight. I watched his weakness. He is good. He's very good if you're backing up. Like, if you're letting him to move. So I make him tired by attacking him first using my clinching. I'm an MMA fighter. I was a world champion in MMA, the first Filipino to be a world champion in UAE Warriors. I can wrestle, I can clinch. Duran doesn't, because he is a boxer. He is a high-level boxer, so I attack his weakness and make sure he get tired. And then in the later rounds, I make sure I counter him because his punches is slow already because he was defending the clinch. So I followed the game plan well. My wife always reminds me about the game plan. In the corner, I can hear her. So that's what happened. And always follow the game plan. Don't get too comfortable. Just follow the game plan. Stick on the game plan. And that's what happened to me. And I get the victory tonight.
Well, thank you so much. Amazing fight tonight, Rolando Dy, ladies and gentlemen.
Guys, always remember John 3:16. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whoever believeth in him shall not perish and will have everlasting life. Jesus Christ died for your sins. Believe in him and you will be saved. Always, Jesus is King. He is our Savior. God bless everyone.
Ladies and gentlemen, one more time for your winner, the Incredible Rolando Dy. Ladies and gentlemen, the wait is over. It is now time for the main event of the evening. 6 3-minute rounds for the interim BKB Police Gazette Diamond Lightweight Championship of the World. Brought to you by Clue Nicotine Pouches. Our referee in charge when the bell rings is Wayne Spinola. So, for those of you tuning in around the world, to those of you joining us here live in Jacksonville, Florida, are you ready to make history? Let's meet the fighters. First, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing the white trunks, he stands 5 feet, 8 inches tall. He weighed in at 131 pounds. He holds an even bare knuckle record of 1 victory versus 1 defeat. And he fights out of Nuevitas, Camagüey, Cuba. Damas y caballeros, presentando Jorge Bargallo. And now his opponent, fighting out of the red corner, wearing the black trunks with red trim. He stands 5 feet, 7 inches tall. He weighed in at 135 pounds. He holds a bare knuckle record of 7 victories versus 2 defeats, with 6 of those 7 wins coming by way of knockout. And he fights out of Broward County, Florida, introducing the former world champion. Ladies and gentlemen, Jarod Kid Gatti Grant.
Wayne Spinola, our referee for this, our main event of the evening. Interim lightweight belt on the line. Fight scheduled for 6 3-minute rounds. Here we go! Jarod Grant, Kid Gatti in the red and black trunks. Jorge Bargallo in the white trunks. 7 wins, 6 finishes for Jarod Grant. 1 win, 1 finish for Jorge Bargallo. Came to the States from Cuba 8 years ago.
Bargallo, a bit of an awkwardness, so can't throw off the customary boxing of Grant. That's why he's taking his time. He's keeping a tight defense. kind of using the Trigon and seeing the manner in which Bargallo's attacking. But he's processing, trust me, he's processing. Grant is the kind of guy who starts to get your timing, starts to counter you well.
Very slick boxing, speed, precision. He says he knows when to be aggressive. He's also confident he can finish a fight at any given moment.
He's trying to see at what speed and what kind of punch selection Bargallo's going to choose. Remember, this is a change of opponent. Bargallo's coming out very aggressive while Gatti's taking the opposite approach and sort of processing everything he's bringing. Bargallo's not landing most of those, and even whatever is landing is only partially landing. So Grant's still under control, even if Bargallo may have the advantage in this round so far because of his activity.
And as we talked about on camera, Pauline, you just said again, it is a totally different opponent for Jarod Grant, but he said it's still the same fight and it'll still be the same result, and that'll be my arm raised and that belt put around my waist. Time will tell. Our main event of the evening.
Now Grant starts to shoot that jab. Oh, he might have cut it. I don't know, maybe that opened up a cut. They haven't seen Bargallo's face yet.
He did have a message, he said.
Yeah, that did open up.
Yep.
It opened up a nice jab by Grant.
We always ask our fighters areas of improvement or emphasis, you know, and they're very truthful with us, what they've been working on. Jarod Grant said, I actually need to stop improving because our matchmaker Mel Valenzuela is having a hard time matching me up with guys that will take a fight against me.
I'll tell you what, he looks good here so far. I mean,
Yes, he
hasn't been
does.
throwing a lot of punches, but his defense has been sharp. I was going to say maybe Bargallo was winning the round on activity, but after that sharp jab, let Gatti land it, and Gatti Grant landed, sorry, and also just the fact that his defense is just so smooth. You know, they said Willie Pep went around without throwing a punch. If you can still do that, Grant is showing that right now.
Absolutely.
That's another nice jab by Grant. He's the one who's
Trust in his coach Ryan Perez too.
and he's the one who's landing sharp, although Bargallo finally landed a jab there as well.
Round number 2. Kid Gatti in the red and black trunks, that is Jarod Grant. Jorge Bargallo in the white trunks. The jab caused a cut, but both men still explosive early, a lot of movement. Got all the makings of a fun fight. And Bargallo, you can tell his game. He's not affected at all from being the man who was going to start in the prelims to the man who's got a chance to finish the show in style in our main event of the evening.
Bargallo's lively, he just, you know, Grant is very slippery.
Yep.
Now Grant's starting to hold his ground a little bit, looking to counter that jab.
And now it's Bargallo with a smile on his face.
I mean, I don't know, Bargallo didn't land either, you know. I know he slipped the counter right hand of Grant. Bargallo burns a lot of energy. Again, like I said, he's lively.
Yep. Good shots by Jorge Bargallo.
But are they really good shots, Goldie?
Yeah. Well, they were good shots, but they didn't land. Good throws, there you go.
Grant, though, is going to have to start countering some of these. See a sharp jab again. Otherwise, the activity of Bargallo may influence the judges.
Midway point of round 2. Title fights are 6 rounds. Very highly decorated amateur boxing career with the gloves on for Jarod Grant. 50-5 as an amateur, and I mentioned you before, Paulie, National Sugar Burt champion.
Yeah. That's a good tournament to win, too. It wasn't around when I was an amateur, but I've been to it and I've seen a lot of good competition there. Another nice jab. I'll tell you, good stabs there by Grant every once in a while when he does throw. Good counter right hand there by Grant as Bargallo tried to get aggressive. But you see Bargallo will take them and keep being aggressive. You see the blood now coming out of the mouth of Bargallo. Another counter.
Well done, Jorge Bargallo, but you still got to take the 8 count.
I'll tell you, Grant is so efficient with his output. It's not a lot of output, but he makes it count. Bargallo, on the other hand, is super excited, but wastes a lot of energy, and that energy is starting to work against him now because Grant is starting to really get the timing on that awkward offense of Bargallo.
That is a very creative way to get up after being knocked out, though.
No, spring right up, right? Let him know it didn't affect you.
Like an Olympic gymnast.
It'll still cost you an extra point on the scorecard there.
10 seconds, respect the bell.
Anticipation.
Absolutely. And somewhat knowing what's coming because it came earlier, much to your point.
Yeah, anticipation.
And he adjusted the second time. High fight IQ has always been on the asset side of the list of skills for Jarod Grant. Round 3,
Watch your feet, guys. Watch your feet.
fight scheduled for 6. Knockdown scored in the last round by Kid Gatti, Jarod Grant. Said hands up, walk him down, throw bombs. Use my boxing technique.
Watch the back of the head. Watch the back of the head.
I tell you, man, Grant is slippery.
And you mentioned something earlier in the show about when you're moving your feet, it's hard to move your head.
Yeah.
When you're moving your head, it's hard to move your feet. But man, he moves that upper body when he's caught in that corner beautifully, doesn't he?
Yep. And that's what I mean. See, Grant, when he's more flat-footed, he's got good reflexes, good head movement. You know, but he's also not bouncing around. See, when he's moving, he's just taking the steps in and out of range. He knows how to make Bargallo miss just ever so slightly, and that will put him in position to counter just like that. Because if you make a big slip, you put yourself out of position and out of range to counter. And that's why another reason why Gatti Grant was processing earlier on and not punching back, because he was getting the range as to how far he has to slip from Bargallo before he can start countering. You see right there, he's doing for that big counter, just missed it there though.
Good flurry. They both landed. And you can see from the style and profile of Jarod Grant why his coach said years ago he reminded him of the great Arturo Gatti because of the way he used to fight in the amateurs. Of course, Gatti, the Canadian, a Hall of Famer inducted back in 2007 at that great trilogy with Mickey Ward. 1 minute on the clock, round 3. Good head movement by Jorge Bargallo.
I think that was an accident. He just kind of followed through with a missed right hand. See Grant, look at how comfortable he is now at closer range. You see what I'm saying? Right? He was processing. Now Grant is at close range, so he can shoot a jab when he wants to, but he's also comfortable at this range because he feels like he can make Bargallo miss anytime he wants, even at close range. So that now the mental pressure starts, you see? Now Grant is in front of Bargallo. Bargallo still can't land, but you're bringing it to him.
If it's accidental, can it still be good head movement though, Paulie?
Yeah, sure. It's a slip, right?
It's a slip, there you go. It's a slip.
10 seconds.
Final seconds of the third midway point of this fight. Nicely done. Ryan Perez, the longtime coach of Jarod Grant.
Funny thing is, Bargallo aggravates Grant all around, and then at the end he wants to be friends. So I think Grant is getting tired of it. He's barely touching his rear hand now, and Bargallo sticks out his hand at the end of the round.
Over here. It's from him. It's from him. Oh, okay. I need to step up. He's tired too. He's just stepping up. Come on. You're keeping him in the fight.
Our main event continues. Round number 4. Jarod Grant. 7 professional bare knuckle wins. 6 of those he finished. Unbeaten in the Trigon, as is Jorge Bargallo with that 1-0 record.
But you see what Bargallo just tried to do after Grant was in the clinch. He tried to pick him up. That's why Grant is getting aggravated with him about touching hands at the end of the round. It's things like that.
Can the gamemanship take the attention away from an opponent? With Jarod Grant, it certainly doesn't seem so, or very likely at this point.
It's not the lack of trying for Bargallo, but again, Grant keeping it.
Great flurry. Quick hands from Bargallo, a nice counter right from Grant. Bargallo went right back to business.
Yeah. But again, a lot not landing clean enough to really bother Grant. And that's why Grant can still keep that poker face and stay right in front of Bargallo.
The heaviest punch that landed in that exchange was the counter right.
Yeah, yeah. You see again, Grant, look, counter right hand there, partially lands, but nonetheless, he's still comfortable at this range in front of Bargallo. It's Bargallo burning a lot of energy.
Grant just fought gloved back on February 1st in Fort Lauderdale. Earned a victory, the third of his professional glove career. Tonight he's looking to become a champion inside the Trigon. Walk away with the interim lightweight title. Julio Tenori Rodriguez, I'm sure is watching very closely.
Good right hand there by Bargallo, maybe the best shot of the fight that he's landed.
Big swing and a miss on the counter.
Don't go over his wrist, don't grab his wrist.
1 minute. Round 4. A lot of energy still for both fighters.
Yeah.
But with not a lot of clinching.
Yeah, true. But Bargallo is still burning a lot of energy. He's throwing a lot of hard punches and he's coming forward. Grant knows how to relax in there. He's got that boxing experience. Getting a good jab by Grant there. Nice jab there, but a little short right hand actually from Bargallo.
Bargallo, 96 amateur glove boxing bouts.
No way. No way. I don't believe that.
You know what?
No.
He told a lie on his bio.
No way. Oh, nice counter left hook. Nice counter left hook by Grant. No way this guy is 96 glove. No way. I don't even know if he had one. But he's got a lot of fight in him. I'll give him credit. But I don't know if he knows how to box.
So he is 96. You say maybe 95 less than that.
Yeah. Maybe 96 less than that. You know what? I would say use some feints off before you punch. You know, maybe get Grant to make that first initial defensive move because Grant's defensive moves are sharp and they're slick and they force Bargallo to sort of start reaching and get himself out of position. So maybe try to see if you can put Grant out of position with some feints or even some level changes. Bend down a little bit, some level changes. Just show it. You know, you don't even have to necessarily punch off it all the time, but just show it. Guy, that's what I'm saying about a guy with 96 amateur fights would know these things on his own.
Right.
And he doesn't do any of those.
And for Jarod Grant, more of the same, right?
Yeah. Well, Grant, you know, he's only thing maybe a little more output, but I think he's still winning the fight anyway. But the only thing you're risking with, you know, with the no output is that a lot of times the Florida Commission, they like to reward aggression even if it's not effective. And we're in Florida.
Yes, we are. Second round knockdown.
That was a sweet right hand there by Grant.
Yep, the second round knockdown from Grant when the guy went flying, flipped and got back up.
I told you, Bargallo has enough of a crazy gene in his head. You see, he gets it with these big shots, he smiles, he sticks out his tongue, wants to still exchange and fight, but Grant's not going to give him that. Nice counter shots there by Grant again, setting up beautifully. You can see that. You can see when you give me the amateur experience of Grant, I can see it. Actually, he fights even better than a guy who's had about 50 amateur fights. You know, he's got a good pedigree. You can see it. You can see in his reactions and his sense of timing and his sense of comfort at range. The selection of what he chooses to do, that's where you see the experience. And that's been the difference here for Bargallo. Because for Bargallo, it's not been for lack of trying. He's got a lot of heart. It's just Grant is better.
A minute to work here in round 5.
Come on, you're okay, let's go. Come on, let's go.
Bargallo's calling his own low blow. The referee's saying no.
Yeah, Wayne Spinola says, let's go.
I don't know if that was low or not. Maybe the truck can get the replay, but it looks like, you know, Bargallo's getting to the point where he's trying to referee his own fights. He's getting uncomfortable. And Grant is starting to sense a stoppage. He's starting to up the pressure a little bit. Bargallo's starting to look uncomfortable. Is he looking for a way out? Let's see.
Stop, stop, break it up. When I say stop, you gotta stop. I'm not hitting him. I don't trust. My time. You hit him after the fuck I said stop. Okay, you hit him after I said break. Just give him a second.
Bargallo's gonna get booed here for this.
That was in the ribs. I'm giving you a break. Listen to me. I'm giving you a break because he hit you after I said break. You ready to go? Let's go.
That was a little low, but it wasn't low. It wasn't low below the cup low. It was
right.
And Wayne's good shot again.
Wayne Spinola did say, I'm giving you a break because it was a little low.
Yeah. And he's wearing a cup, so that shot actually landed on the cup anyway, on the upper side of the cup, not underneath the cup, which is where it actually hurts for guys, you know?
Of course, if it was the tie cup and Joe Rogan was talking about it, he'd tell everybody how it really hurt.
Oh, yeah, no, but I don't know the tie cup.
Yeah,
maybe
because of the rope and the steel.
Oh,
yeah.
Ready? Fight.
Sixth and final round. 3 minutes remain. Jarod Grant, red and black trunks, white trunks for Jorge Bargallo.
Back up, both of you. Back up.
Jarod Grant scored a knockdown in round number 2, and a nice right hand landed there.
Stop! Break clean, back up. Both of you, back up. Back up. Here we go. Fight. Stop. He's allowed to clinch. Let's go. Fight. Stop. Break clean, back
See
up.
Grant continuing to step to Bargallo now, even if he's not bringing all the physical pressure all the time, he steps to him and he's creating that mental stress on Bargallo because he senses Bargallo sort of fading. So sometimes that mental pressure can make a guy start getting tired and fading even without having to hit him. Because you've done the good hitting earlier on in the fight.
Under 2 minutes.
See again, Grant has the distance set well, really nicely. Makes Bargallo just miss ever so slightly. And that way he doesn't give Bargallo a break because Grant doesn't go anywhere. You see, even the punches thrown don't get Grant away from Bargallo.
Back up. Both of you, back up, please.
Swing and a miss, but he landed the left on the way back.
A little short right hand by Bargallo and then good jab by Grant.
Double jab from Jorge Bargallo. Kid Gatti getting some Bargallo flipping off the crowd.
I tell you, he's a lively guy.
My name is Jorge, not Jarod.
Yeah, I tell you, he's a lively guy. And I tell you, he's got just enough of a crazy gene in his head to make him interesting and give him that bliss to not have to have the fear that he maybe should have, you know?
Yep.
And Grant, again, continue with that mental pressure. Continue this stalk. And a little bit of that physical as well. A little wide on that counter right hand, but still
Final 30 seconds, Paulie.
So the guy is not punching back anymore. It's Grant who's one punching, and the guy is the one just trying to clinch. Good shot there by Grant.
10 seconds. Finish it out.
They're going to go the full 6.
Finish it out. Let's go.
And it's going to be in the hands of the judges. Jarod Grant and Jorge Bargallo. Earlier tonight, our fight of the night brought to you by Clue Nicotine Pouches. Brandon Birr and Yampier Ramirez. Back and forth battle. Birr was good early, and then Ramirez, wow.
Worthy fight of the night. That way, momentum swings like crazy. Worthy fight of the night, and a really surprising and combo from behind. Victory for Yampier Ramirez after it looked like he was gone.
Yep. I mean, Brandon Birr came out great. He defeats a former champion. That is our fight of the night.
And is RKO of the night.
Our knockout of the night brought to you by AMG, and it belongs to Tommy Aaron. As he got the show started in style. finishing Ryan Jett.
And you know what it is there? We see it here. See the uppercut actually lands, and then he gets hit again on the way down. So yeah, actually, that's why Jett was kind of motionless. He got hit with the uppercut that hurt him, and he was going to go down anyway. But then Aaron actually got him with another left hook on the way down.
Third round knockout for Tommy Aaron. Judges have rendered their decision for our main event. Let's get it to Big Mo.
After 6 full rounds, we go to the judges' scorecards for the official decision. Judges Walker, Serrano, and Flutie see it 58-55, while Judge Larson sees it 57-56. Declaring your winner by unanimous decision and the new interim BKB Lightweight Champion, Jarod "Kid" Gatti Grant.
See what I mean about the score? This commission, Goldie, it's wild. It's a wild thing over here, man.
It
It's
is.
Like, if you, as long as you follow the leader and you're following the guy, you may actually get a win you don't deserve. I didn't think he won any rounds.
Kid Gatti Grant, now with gold on his shoulder once again in your bare knuckle career. How does it feel? Interim championship, but still a world championship. How does it feel to get the win tonight?
You want me to be completely honest, man? I'm a real humble guy, and I think I perform like shit. I know I fight way better than that. You know, props to my opponent for stepping up. You know, without him, I wouldn't have had this fight. I pushed myself. I think I got the knockdown. That's what got me the win. But I could do a lot better.
Now, there are few fighters that are that composed in the corner inside the Trigon. You wait for that counter. You hit it multiple times tonight. Is that just something you practice and work on, kind of bait him in?
Yeah, man, I have to give thanks to my coach, Ryan Perez. He's the one that pushed me in the corner, man. If it wasn't for him, I wouldn't have won this belt tonight. He pushed me.
Now, I only have a couple more questions for you. Now that you have this title, BKB, what do you want to do? Do you want to be the undisputed outright champion next?
Listen, I know I didn't perform that well tonight, but guess what? Julio has a mandatory ass whooping with me now.
Love that. Jarod, I believe there's one other thing you want to say. Is that correct? One more? Okay. Let's get that belt down. Ready?
Caitlin, will you marry me?
What a night.
Ladies and gentlemen, one more time for the happy couple and for the new champion, Jarod "Kid" Gatti Grant, and soon to be the Grants together.
Tommy Aaron, Ryan Jett, they had some words, but Tommy Aaron had the final shout, and it was a big one as he earned the victory. Joshua Sikes defeats Rusty Crowder. Lailane Mota, spectacular work, defeating the former champion Monica Medina. DJ Linderman showed us why he has been a champion before and has an opportunity to be a champion again in the future. A win over Jamal Woods. The 21-year-old Yampier Ramirez defeats a former champion in that man, Brandon Birr. Then it was time for Rolando Dy. Then it was time for Jarod Grant. But there were some statements made tonight, and some big ones, by our great fighters who battled inside the mighty Trigon. For my powerful partner, the Magic Man, the former two-time world champion, Paulie Malignaggi, Mike Goldberg, saying so long until next time. We see you right back here inside the one, the only mighty Trigon.